Get your Hot Pockets and pizza rolls ready because we are going to be spending some time in the basement. And no, not your mother's basement, the Karazhan basement. The other day I was doing a live stream and I was just testing out different gold farms and potential leveling methods, and I came across this nice little thing in the basement of Karazhan where we're going to actually be farming spiders for experience. Now this has got to be one of the craziest experience farms I have seen so far, and it offers over 1 million experience per hour if you're doing it consistently and correctly. So I'm going to get into all that, but first I just want to say thank you to Bug Finder, Fracky TV, and Sleazer for hanging out in the stream the other day and for helping me open the door and testing out different things. This video wouldn't be possible without their help, so I just want to say thank you guys very much, and I hope to see you in the next stream as well. So first, as always, we're going to go over the gear and spec requirements, and then I'll show you what the run looks like. Here is the spec and glyphs that I have decided to use. You can go ahead and copy this or make your own version, whichever you decide to do. I'm sure it'll be just fine. Notice that we do not need spiritual attunement or guarded by the light, because we're not getting healed, and we also don't have divine plea, and plus our blessing of sync will keep our mana up just fine, so we don't need this. We don't have these talents because we don't have sacred shield, and everything else we pretty much don't need. Notice that we also don't have pursuit of justice because we are still level 70 at this point, so instead we're going to have to be using a movement speed enchant on our boots so that we can move a little bit quicker. For glyphs, I'm using Hammer of the Righteous and Seal of Light. I'm just using this one because I didn't really see any other glyph that seemed useful at all, so I just kind of threw this in. You can use whatever second glyph you would like to. So here's the gear setup that I'm currently using on the beta, and it's working pretty well for me. You can see I'm going with a high avoidance build, and I'm just kind of putting strength where I can to get a little bit of extra damage. And as you can see here, instead of using a spell power weapon, I'm using a melee weapon, and this is actually because our Hammer of the Righteous is going to scale with our weapon damage, and it's a big percentage of our damage in this farm in particular. And Crusader enchant is really nice because it's giving us 60 strength on a proc that's pretty much up all the time, and that's actually huge for prot Paladin in the pre-patch. It's about 120 attack power and 36 spell power. Consecration scales off of both attack power and spell power, so it's a big boost to your consecration damage when this is proc. For the same reason, we're going to be using Darkmoon Card Crusade, which gives us both attack power and spell power, which means it's a really nice boost to our consecration damage. You should also be aware of stat scaling if you plan on doing this past level 70. Now, from my testing, it's actually pretty decent into even like the mid 70s, so you may want to stay here for quite a while, but in that case, you're going to need to know that your avoidance is actually going to go down as you level up. So as you see here, I'm level 70, my avoidance is 95%. If I click this level up button here, I'm going to go to 71. Congrats. And you see we actually lost about 5% total avoidance, which is kind of a big deal, especially when you're working with these mobs that hit super hard. So as you level up, you may have to swap out some of these more offensive pieces for some more defense, such as your Darkmoon Card Crusade. You could replace this with another defensive trinket, even your weapon, or you know, if you're using T6 with just strength gemmed, you can change it over to more defensive gems. Whatever you got to do to make sure that you stay alive during the farm. First, I'm going to show you the spider version of the run, which is a bit easier and doesn't require any consumes. I do, however, recommend you bring some consumables just to increase your damage output, but if you're not optimizing for speed, then you don't really have to worry about it. All we have to do here is for the pull, just grab all of the blue spiders we can see using our instant cast Avenger Shield and our new Hand of Reckoning taunt. Once we have all of the spiders pulled, we're just going to back into a corner near the entrance to the bat area, and we'll just pick one single target. It really helps to have nameplates enabled for this, but unfortunately, I didn't have them on when I recorded this. What you want to do here is use every cooldown you have available every single run in order to maximize your damage. I also bring strength food, weapon oil, attack power flasks, and sappers to pump out even more damage. Every time you can pop a sapper or wings, you definitely should. With Seal of Light and Judgment of Light, we don't really have to worry about our HP getting too low, but in case of emergency, you can pop your figurine of the Colossus and you'll heal back up to full really quickly. The most annoying thing about this part is that when you attack the spiders, they drop a blue mist on the ground and they try to run away to shoot you with a poison volley. Using this spot, you can actually LOS most of the poison volleys, but your Seal of Light target will be too far away to hit. What you should try to do is judge a spider, and then when it runs away, target a different spider. When the first spider comes back, you can swap back to it as it won't run away again, so you can hit it to proc your judgment. Using this method, all you have to do is stand here and press all of your buttons over and over and over until everything is dead. This run should net you about 64,000 experience, and overall it was taking me an average of 3 minutes and 30 seconds to do. Now, because this is a raid, we are actually not confined to dungeon lockouts, which means we can reset this dungeon as many times as we want in an hour. With each run only taking 3 minutes and 30 seconds, we can do this 17 times times in an hour, and 17 times 64,000 experience every single run is going to net us about 1,088,000 experience per hour. When I first did the calculation, I didn't even think that this was possible, over 1,000,000 experience per hour. I was honestly surprised when I made a brand new character and I farmed for 60 minutes straight, and I actually came out to exactly 1,088,900 experience after 60 minutes of farming. I honestly thought that I was going to hit some sort of hidden drawback or reset counter or something, but it just never came, and I just kept getting experience all the way until I was done. And if you don't believe me, then here is a clip when I first started the run, when I started with 7,420 experience at level 70, and then here is a clip from when I ended the run 1 hour later, and as you can see, I had gained over 1,000,000 experience. Anyways, really all there is to it is going in, pulling all of the spiders in the basement, backing into a corner, getting them down, and then running out and resetting. You just do this as fast as you possibly can, and the experience gains are absolutely insane. Big thanks to Bugfinder for also providing these experience gain stats from level 73 and 74. It looks like at level 74 you're still getting around 52,000 experience, which if you multiply this times 17, assuming that you're still getting the same 3.5 minute runs, you're still going to be getting 878,000 experience per hour at level 74. So even at level 74, this experience farm completely destroys anything I have made up until this point. So if you're thinking about doing slave pens or Utgard Keep or Shattered Halls, forget about it. Karazhan is completely insane. And this is just the spider run. Just wait until I show you the bat run. This run uses a combination of single target burst and free action potions to pull some of the bats to increase our experience gain per hour. I do have to warn you that this run is a little bit more inconsistent and more dangerous, but it does grant more experience, so it's really up to you whether or not you want to try this out, but I recommend you do at least try it once or twice to see if it's something you may want to do when launch comes. The pull itself is going to be very similar to the spider pull, but after the spiders are all pulled, we're actually going to use our bubble and run into the room where the bats are located. We're going to pull one side of the room where the bats are, and then we're going to run back into the same spot that we were using in the last pull. The reason this pull is more dangerous is because these bats have a thunderclap ability that does about 1200 magical damage, and it can really stack up high when you get a lot of them. In addition to this, the greater shadow bats have a stun ability and a knockback that can really mess you up, and if you get stunned by them, you're pretty much going to die instantly from all the damage. What we need to do to counteract this is get into our kill spot, pop a free action potion, and actually use Seal of Vengeance to nuke down any greater shadow bats. We'll simultaneously be using Seal of Light and Figurine of the Colossus to make sure that we don't die during this burn phase. You can use macros to help you target or just use nameplates. I didn't have them on again for this run, but I do recommend that you use Plater as it is very helpful. By the way, if you're interested in my Plater profile, I actually do have it located in the resources channel of my Discord, so make sure that you hop in there if you wanted that. Once you've nuked down your greater shadow bat, that is if you did pull one, then you're going to want to target regular shadow bats as their thunderclap ability does hurt you and you probably will die over time if you don't get these down quickly. The nice thing about the bat version here is it actually doesn't take any more time than the spider version, but you do get increased experience. So on average I was getting around 77,000 experience every single time I did this run as opposed to 64,000 from the spider version. That means that if you were consistently doing the bat pull in 3 minutes and 30 seconds and you did it for an hour straight, you'd receive about 1.3 million experience in one single hour. This is an increase of about 220,000 experience per hour over the spider pull. The only drawback, of course, is that it is more dangerous, so you might die, and that would overall reduce your experience. So again, it's up to you. If you think you can pull this off consistently, time after time, and never die, then this will definitely be the way to go, as I don't see anything else in the game giving you 1.2 million experience per hour at level 70. Just imagine you've got 25 quests ready to turn in, and right after you do that, you pop into Karazhan and do a couple runs, and you're level 71 before anyone else. Now that seems pretty awesome to me, and then you can also continue this all the way up to 74, maybe even 75, who really knows. This is all, of course, assuming Blizzard doesn't see this video and nerf it into the ground, but that would never happen. If you liked today's video and you want to see more like it in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel as I'm almost at my goal of 10,000 subs. I'd really appreciate it, and thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.